Now, if you're a solo filmmaker or content creator, then you might think that capturing cinematic drone shots of yourself is tricky. But the truth is, you don't need a big crew or a huge Hollywood budget to get incredible results. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down 10 cinematic drone shots that you can capture all by yourself. And the best part is, they're all really easy to do. A big thanks to DJI for sponsoring this video. Now let's jump straight in with shot number 1, the flyby. This shot is perfect for showing off both yourself and your location, making it a great way to set the scene. Used in many Hollywood films, perfect for travel videos or any time you need to establish your location. I'm using the DJI Flip for all of these shots today, shooting in 4K 24 frames per second. And for this first one, we're going to start with the drone hovering behind us around about 20 feet. We're then going to walk forward into our scene, then using the remote, push forward on the joystick and let the drone smoothly fly past you. You can experiment with different elevations and speeds, either fly by just above your head for a more intimate shot, or much higher if you want to emphasize the landscape. Also, you don't necessarily need to walk with these shots. You could simply stand still, look out at your surroundings, and have the drone fly by you. This also makes a great shot. And if you're feeling particularly daring, see how close you can get the drone to fly by you. Although get this wrong, and you're going to take a drone to the back of the head like I did. So only do this with a drone that has its propellers protected like this to avoid slicing your head open. Okay, moving on to shot number 2, the Orbit. The Orbit is a classic, and for good reason. It creates a cinematic, almost dreamlike effect by circling around you. Now, you can do this while standing still, or to make it even more dynamic, try walking while the drone orbits you. To shoot this, use either the point of interest or spotlight mode on your drone. Select yourself as the subject and set the radius and speed. The key here is to keep the motion steady and smooth. Avoid any jerky movements like this. The shot works great when you're in an epic landscape or wide open space. You can do this in busier environments like a forest, for example, but just be careful you don't crash into anything. Experiment with different distances, try some close up and others nice and wide to really take in your location. Pro tip here, keep your horizon in the frame. If you're flying at a slightly elevated position looking down, the shot looks a little bit more amateur, but bring the drone down so that your horizon is in the frame and you'll get a much more interesting and professional looking shot, much more cinematic. Now let's switch things up with a bird's eye view shot. This one adds a unique perspective by looking straight down at your subject. It works great when walking through textured environments like forests, urban landscapes, beaches. To get this shot, position the drone directly above you. Keep it locked off and simply walk through the frame. The contrast between you and the environment will create visual interest. If you want to add extra movement, try slowly tracking the drone forward or backwards. Now, if you've ever wanted to mimic a big Hollywood crane shot but don't have thousands to spend on equipment, this one is for you. The mega crane starts low and rises dramatically, revealing more of the scene as you move into the distance. To capture this, start with the drone low to the ground, then slowly push the control stick upward whilst walking away. The effect creates an incredible sense of scale and works beautifully for travel videos and cinematic storytelling. Also, if you're looking to capture truly cinematic shots, then the secret to this is manually dialing in the correct camera settings. Do not shoot in auto mode. I'm shooting at 24 frames per second, so I have my shutter speed set to 1/50. I have my ISO as low as possible. I'm also using ND filters to compensate for any shots that might be overexposed. And I'm shooting in D-Log-M rather than the standard picture profile. This will give you a flatter, more washed out looking image, but gives you so much more room to color grade in the edit. I first bring my colors back to life using a D-Log-M to Rec 709 conversion LUT. I will put a link down below where you can download this for free. Then, once I've done that, I add one of my own custom LUTs to help stylize the footage. I have a collection of color grading presets, everything from cinematic to nature and urban. I will also link these below. One of the easiest but most effective shots you can get as a solo creator is the tracking shot. Instead of manually controlling the drone, let the DJI flip do the work for you with active track. Simply select yourself as the subject and choose whether you want the drone to follow you from behind, the front, or from the side. Then mix up different distances. Try a wide shot to show the full landscape or a close-up for a more personal feel. This shot is a must-have for adventure films and action sequences. Really easy to capture. You don't need to be holding the remote for this shot. You can adjust the elevation, so try some shots low to the ground, others higher up looking down. A great way to give your shot some pace and take your audience through your location with you. The Earth Zoom Reveal. The Earth Zoom Reveal starts with a top-down shot, then zooms down to smoothly reveal both you and your location. A very dramatic effect, this one, but surprisingly easy to pull off. For this, we're going to shoot this shot in reverse. So start with the drone behind you with the framing you want to end your shot, and then lock onto yourself using spotlight. Now hold this shot for a few seconds and then slowly send the drone upwards as high as it will go. You can do this using the remote. Try to find a location that looks interesting from a bird's eye perspective. These rocks look great and really help give this shot some texture. Then in the edit, simply reverse the footage and add a speed ramp to create the smooth zoom effect. A simple trick, but with epic looking results. Now, if you want to add a more stylized, moody feel to your shots, then try silhouette shots. This works best at sunrise or sunset when the light is lower and softer. Golden hour is the perfect time to do this. For this, position yourself between the sun and the drone, making sure you are dark against the bright sky. Then simply fly the drone past you or hold it for a striking silhouette effect. The contrast makes this shot feel super cinematic. The better the sunset or sunrise, the better these shots will be. Now, just because you have a drone, it doesn't mean that every shot needs to be pushing forward or rising up. Sometimes simple shots can be just as effective and give your sequences a good mix of shots. A pan shot like this, for example, isn't an obvious drone move, but there's definitely a time and a place for it. To do this, simply hover your drone in a stationary position, somewhere where you wouldn't ordinarily be able to place a traditional camera. Then, using spotlight, select yourself as the subject and walk through your location as the camera slowly pans across the scene. This technique is often overlooked, but it's great for capturing wide landscapes or city skylines in a subtle yet cinematic way. This is one of the coolest ways to add a surreal effect to your shots. The Dolly zoom creates the illusion that the background appears to stretch whilst the subject stays the same size. To achieve this, fly the drone forward while slowly zooming out. You can add the zoom in post-production or fly backwards whilst zooming in. It's a simple yet creative way to make your shot stand out. Okay, number 10, zoom out, reveal, or Dronie. This shot starts close and then slowly pulls back to reveal your surroundings. No remote control needed for this. We can simply use one of the built-in flight presets. To get this shot, launch the drone from the palm of your hand in Dronie mode, and we're then going to simply turn around and let the drone fly away and do its thing. The drone will then fly back and land on your hand, and you'll be left with an epic zoom out reveal of your location. So there you have it. Those were 10 cinematic drone shots that you can capture all by yourself. If you found this video useful, do let me know by giving it the old thumbs up. But that's it from me. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.